Hello everybody, it's Peter the Rock. It's Saturday the 2nd of March and these are obviously piers that are going to support the HS2 trackway heading across the lake, and they seem to be all ready. There's a nice little crane over there in the middle of the picture. There used to be 5 cranes here, but obviously things change regularly. As you notice, the piers have got holes in, which is where cables will go through and they're tensioned to hold the whole thing together. Now, last weekend I did a video of where the M25 crosses the Grand Union Canal. This will be built obviously 30 or 40 years later than that. The M25 bridge or viaduct had problems about 4 years ago, had to have extensive strengthening. Let's hope that's not the case with the HS2 viaduct. So all I'm going to do now is talk a little bit as we walk through what we can walk through of the construction site where HS2 will cross the Grand Union Canal. It's a Saturday. You can see how high the trackway is. The trackway will be 30 feet above ground level, or the ambient ground level, or water level, whatever you want to call it. I've made this joke before. Pedestrians and horse riders this way. Cyclists and horse riders, please dismount and use the walkway. It says up there. So luckily I don't have a horse or a bicycle with me. So they're having a day off here, and I don't blame them because it's rained for about 12 hours solid. I don't know if that affects construction of HS2, but everyone needs a rest now and then, and perhaps they're taking advantage of the weekend. Now this is the famous Dominique, I think my friend Steve calls it a girder. I call it a horizontal crane. Other people just call it Dominique. The word Dominique is in a big plaque on the side of it, and what it does is it serves to plant bits of viaduct along the way in between the piers. There's a crane I filmed a week or two back that was in motion. I entitled that video Crane Action, where I postulated that perhaps the crane driver was using it to pick up his sandwiches. Ho ho ho, but who knows. But it doesn't seem to have made much progress since about 2 weeks ago. I think they did have to, here you can see how the canal has been cut off. They don't want people to come through. I think they did have a problem with the arch or the span that was going to go across the canal. Hello. And that may have caused some delay. But very impressive engineering and a unique opportunity to get right more or less under Dominique as the clouds are gathering, the storm clouds are gathering. But I haven't got a great head for heights, so I don't envy these people in orange. There's one over there who are not escapers from American penitentiaries. They are engineers, because I don't know, they're just sort of looking after the place, I think, because there doesn't seem to be any work going on, no clanging and battering. But it's a marvellous engineering feat. You know, to cross water is fantastic. Now, my friend Steve pointed out that one of my very early videos here, back in April last year, there was a footbridge that they constructed over the canal just for the engineers. I think this might be one of the ends of it, not really sure. and there's a similar one on the other side. Now, because of course people had to cross the canal for the purposes of the work, but it's no longer there. And I postulated at the time that that the HS2 project management had decided that to cut costs, because it does get more and more expensive on a week by week, month by month basis, to cut costs, they would actually stop the railway here, ask the passengers to get out, walk across the footbridge to over there, and then get back on another train, which would save them building the HS2 across the canal. Of course, that was a joke, and I'd forgotten I'd made it, but it's not very funny even now, but it sort of amused me a little bit, and I'm glad they're not cutting any corners. I haven't seen any ducks. Quite often you see a whole cluster of ducks, and I think they're big HS2 fans. It's a shame that because the trains are going to be travelling at 200 miles an hour, wow, or 225 miles an hour around this bend. There is a bend in the trackway here. You can just about see it going down there. It's going to cross this whole Colne Valley in a minute or so, maybe less, maybe a bit more. I haven't done the calculations, but it's a shame, you know, because I'm sure that the ducks are living in anticipation of new people coming along on a train and stopping and feeding them bread and the rest of it. But the train windows, sadly, I assume, will be shut. So even if they were open, hurling a little bit of bread out of a window at 200 miles an hour is liable to cause the ducks some sort of damage rather than improve their dietary habits. So there we are. It's a beautiful sky. The sun is brilliant in the west. There are dark clouds, complete contrast in the sky and on the ground, and this is where HS2 will eventually cross the canal. I think that's probably it for today. Thanks a lot for watching. Peter the Rock, Saturday the 2nd of March, getting on for 5 o'clock. Cheers, like and subscribe.